Are you afraid to go to counseling? Here's why you shouldn't be, right now on The Bearded Prophet. Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to talk about a subject that unfortunately can be kind of controversial, especially in the church. Don't really know why, but let's talk about it real quick here. It's called Why You Shouldn't Be Afraid to Go to Counseling. What can be helpful about seeing a counselor, a professional who's trained to help you work through issues? Hey, I'll just come right out and say it. I have been to multiple counselors in my lifetime. I have gone for counseling for different emotional, personal, relational issues, sometimes getting through things in my past, traumatic experiences, family junk, family background. Please, I've done a good amount of this kind of work because I really want to get clean. I really want to get whole. I really want to get free of my issues. Don't know why, but sometimes there's a real kind of taboo-ness with this, especially if you're a Christian. And yet we forget that counsel is one of the spirits of God. If you read in Isaiah chapter 11, it lists the sevenfold spirits of God, which include the spirit of counsel, of wisdom, might, the fear of the Lord, knowledge, understanding, and the very Spirit of God. And I believe these are all manifestations of the Holy Spirit, who is God Himself. And so God created counseling for good reason. Now, I know that outside of the church or outside of Christianity, sometimes counseling can go kind of off tilt or kind of get into a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm talking primarily about going to see a Christian counselor. And even if you're not currently a Christian or struggling in faith or figuring out what you believe, I still believe you can go see people who are Christian counselors. Counseling, they have a counseling practice, but they're Christians, they're believers in Jesus, and they follow biblical principles, and it would even help you. Because part of the biblical gift of counsel is that they can often receive wisdom and have help and evaluate you not only on a physical basis or an emotional basis, but a spiritual basis. And so I just want to record this video to help break some of the shame and stigma off from that. I use this analogy all the time, and I have to thank my friend Will years ago who told me this. He said, you can break through a lot of your own issues on your own, but it's kind of like trying to saw through a really thick log with a handsaw on your own. And you're just, you're struggling and striving and sweating and working really hard, and your arm starts getting sore. And, at times you're probably thinking, am I ever going to get through this? But you can. If you work hard enough and long enough and sweat enough, you probably can and will eventually break through that log. That's probably doing it on your own. That's probably what most of us are trying to do. He says, but you have an alternative. You can take out a power tool. In this case, you're trying to cut through a log, you get out the chainsaw, you go vroom, you cut through the log in record time. It's a lot less work. It's still work, but it's a lot less work. And he said, counseling is like that power tool. It assists you in doing the same job. It helps you do it quicker, do it better, and with probably a lot less work. It's still work, but a lot less work. And so that's why I'm really a fan of going to see a counselor. If you find yourself stuck, if you're going around the same issues, if you're in a pit or you just are daily struggling just to live day in, day out. I dealt with depression for years before I was even diagnosed by a counselor, a Christian counselor. As I was telling him about some of my problems, he said, I think you're depressed. Are you depressed? And I said, I don't know. But I ended up going ahead and I got a diagnosis and went through treatment for a while and then prayed, and then in the right season, God showed me how to get free of that. And I have recorded a video on my site, a couple of videos actually, and you can learn more about that specific healing process that God did for me. and he's willing to do for you. But I want to break off the shame and the stigma. If you Google Christian counseling or Christian counselors, you can often find some in your area. Another thing is that a lot of them will work on a more sliding scale based on income, or most of them really want to help people. And I'm not saying people in the world don't. I'm not saying just regular counselors and psychiatrists or psychologists down the road I'm not saying that they don't want to help people. But what I'm saying is, most people I know that got into Christian counseling, that was their primary motivation. It was not the income or the prestige. It was, I feel, a call by God, kind of like people who become pastors or ministers. They feel, God's really called me to do this. And one other thing I'll put in there is, just because someone's a Christian and a Christian counselor, does not necessarily mean they have all the answers. I've seen some who are better than others, some I connected with more than others, some I saw for a season. I remember with one of them, we kind of worked through some things, and then we reached a point where he said, if you want more help, you should go see someone else, because I kind of want to go this way and you kind of want to go that way, and I'm not going to be able to walk down that road with you. And I said, okay. And I went and found a counselor that was willing to walk down the road I wanted to go down and worked through those issues and had a good result. So I will say just a couple other tips. I often tell people, don't go forever, but go for a season or a specific need. Like, I'm having problem maintaining friendships. I'm having problem building close relationships, and I can't get over it. Or I see a bad pattern in my relationships. Okay. When you meet with the counselor, say, this is my problem. Can you help me work through this? And how long might it take? 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Can we try out 2 or 3 visits and see if we're making progress? And there's many different forms of counseling and ways that people can help you and work through issues. So please, it's not one size fits all. But you still have your work to do. It's not all on the counselor, but their role, I believe, is to help you work through issues, get more effective results, get more understanding, and hold up that mirror sometimes of what's really going on and what can you and the Lord do to change it. That's the other thing. Good Christian counseling directs you closer to God, helps get rid of barriers in your life so that you can worship God more fully and walk with Him more nearly and do His works more sincerely. So again, if you have questions or want to hear more about this topic, please drop me a note, put a comment down. I'll be glad to answer any and all questions that I can. I love you, and I just want to keep sharing this encouraging word with you. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate also everyone who has subscribed during the 200 subscriber challenge. That's right, we're getting closer to 200 subscribers, at which time I won't cut the beard, but I'll show you some pictures, what I looked like before I got the beard, and tell you the story of how she came into being. So please click subscribe, watch these other videos, and spread the word, The Bearded Prophet. God bless you.